It was so much fun to watch, and they're one of the most formidable 2v2 teams in the world. But coming up against FaZe, like, it's going to be such a hard run down. And we're starting off, of course, with a 3v3. If anybody is new to this tournament, it's 3s to start on all the odd numbers games, and then the loser of this picks 2s or 1s. We then play the spare one in game number 4, and then continue as we mean to go on. But in 3s to kick off our first series of today, and Dorito instantly linking with CRR.
Yeah, nice kickoff. CRR off the ceiling, got AJ to bite early on the push, and then a perfect pinch out. That was excellent job by CRR, getting by the defense, made it easy for Dorito.
Great start for them as well. I mentioned that Marky was incredibly confident when we've spoken to him in the hotel. He's been just so excited to be managing this team, coaching them as well, and you see him on the stage. He has got so much charisma, and this team means so much to him as well.
One thing GLD are going to have to contend with as they start out the game with a lead is FaZe's passing ability. It can be really strong, especially with first killer behind the ball in 3s. Actually misses contact. FaZe nonplussed to still have control. You got that netminder Devo, who's always been so clean on defense. GLD are definitely going to have to rely on him on defense to get by FaZe.
We always focus on CRR and Dorito, and it's a great point about Devo, where it just really wouldn't work without him. He started off his career as the flashy man, the one who makes, you know, the goals that everyone's going to be clipping and showing off to their friends of this is what you can do in Rocket League back in the day. But now it falls down to the younger players, and with Devo being able to transition and take on that different role, it's actually very interesting of him. You know, it's such an interesting way to have a career kind of change, but still be just as relevant as you were back in the day. And going on to a top 4 again, it's a lot of fun to see. That man is ultimately a world champion.
I mean, we've seen teams be successful having that one player that can be really reliable on defense. I think the one criticism for Devo is when he's on offense and he's the guy who has to shoot the ball. Historically, lately, it hasn't really been the best for Devo, but he's looking pretty good on the ceiling, and he's got the pinch with CRR.
Yeah, nearly managed to pull off a bit of a wonder play as Dorito into the midfield, tries to pass to CRR. Those passing plays have been huge between the two of them throughout this entire weekend. It's so much fun to watch the two Spanish players link up, have that synergy, being able to outplay as often as they would like of their opponents. 2 minutes gone, GLD still leading.
Doing a good job keeping FaZe out. There was one opportunity for FaZe earlier where they caught a hole in the GLD defense, but the shot was wide of the net, and then third man was just trying to buy time for FaZe to get back. Well defended so far by GLD, but FaZe not without an opportunity or two. First killer immediately denied on the challenge. FaZe having some trouble, and AJ could have been good. Sipical's gonna get in the air, pumps it high for first killer. First killer keeping it to the corner, away from GLD. It's working out for now. Now FaZe is an extended stay on offense, but the transition, hard shot denied.
Sipical waiting towards that back post, able to use all of his momentum to cover the goal because the shot did ultimately come from about midfield. So there's a lot of distance for that ball to travel before he is forced to save it. So great positioning from him. CRR and Dorito both crossing each other's paths as first killer takes to the sky into the midfield, links up with Sipical, and look at that continuation from him.
The transition, AJ almost getting caught out with no boost. He'll actually secure his own. FaZe will get out again. Oh, GLD just missed the ball. Devo, though, coming right in, and GLD are no worse off. FaZe, again, that offensive push they just had, they're doing a good job working that ball out to midfield. They're not letting GLD get set up on offense for too long. They might win a 50 or 2. Look at them take patience, not going into the ball too early, really sizing up where GLD are sitting on the defensive end when they have control. And a great demo as well. FaZe really starting to heat up.
Yeah, may as well shut that opportunity down before it can even become a shot. Demoing in the midfield. Devo was completely removed on the backboard. CRR passing to Devo, a lot of trust there. Pass central again. Dorito able to send towards that right hand wall. CRR to go long, one of the star players on GLD. The man taking on the 3s, the 2s, and most importantly, the 1s. In the best of 7, we're going to be seeing all of those game modes, and CRR will not be leaving the lobby and clicking spectate at any moment.
Oh.
First killer, not one spectate himself, dropping it down to Sipical.
Interesting. play here by FaZe. A nice pass from AJ. First killer just beating out the defender, and that double, CRR in the right spot, but that double was just so fast to bounce off the ground. Great read from Typical.
I mean, sometimes that ball's going to find its way in. That's how acute those angles are able to be. First killer was unable to find it, but it does not matter. The selflessness gets them that shot and the goal. First killer first to that as well. Dives underneath, trying to out Devo.
So GLD, they got that initial goal, and oh, did FaZe just completely ruin their chance? Devo gets credit for the goal, but FaZe helped him out.
The man from the UK living in Spain is cool as a cucumber as he manages to get that lead for GLD with one goal separating the two of them. 48 seconds left. FaZe Clan going down.
What you expect from FaZe? Their man just caught peeking a little too far upfield. Now they, after just tying, gotta tie it back up again. Not a lot of time.
Oof.
AJ almost getting caught out again. That optimistic positioning, it's caught them in the past in this tournament. And while it hasn't really destroyed them fully, GLD could absolutely punish them again and time's running out.
AJ on that right wall needs to get a goal as soon as he can. The final 20 seconds sees him challenging with Dorito in the skies. On the right wall, Typical with 30 boosts, burns it down to nothing and gets nothing for it. First killer, chance to make history in the skies. AJ up for the double, but CRR, the star man, lurking in the skies. Oh, tapped on as Devo wants to get a bit of a worldie himself.
FaZe, last chance at 0 seconds. Cut off, but the pass still gonna be complete. Typical, following AJ, denied. Ball high in midfield. AJ getting in front, pass over to first killer, ball still in the air. FaZe, 0 second drill still in effect. Does he got the catch? No. GLD take the first 3v3.
And it really play from him. And exactly as we said, we see a 2v2.
AJ and Typical actually. No AJ. It'll be first killer Typical this time. I'm not sure if they've gone with Typical at all in 2v2, but Dorito and CRR, arguably their toughest test yet as a duo, especially in this tournament.
They have gone with first killer and Typical historically. They went versus Semper and they managed to beat Shorset and Exotic when they faced them. So definitely a 2v2 team that does exist. Whether they can get another victory is yet to be seen.
Seems like a less aggressive duo as well. If it's first killer and AJ, you think, all right, constant challenges, constant aerial assault. But with Typical, he's not necessarily as aggressive. He's more so takes his chances when he sees them. More high percentage shot opportunities, and maybe a lot more reliable in terms of the back end on twos. He's gonna carry the ball forward, lose the 50 to Dorito.
They also used this duo versus Space Station Gaming and managed to beat them in that as well. So definitely a seasoned roster and the more confident game mode for them as well. GLD, I'm sure, will be excited to play in that 1v1 that we know is going to be coming. As is the beauty of a best of 7, CRR to shoot and forces both defenders to try and challenge on that ball. CRR again keeping the possession on, and Dorito, both these players linking up so fantastically throughout this entire tournament.
CRR not biting early on Typical. Allows Dorito to rotate back. Real close on defense. Dorito getting another dunk. Get the ball out to CRR, he did. Forces FaZe to make the save. A little bit of pressure, but FaZe's boost management has been good enough, and they've been able to secure their own boost as well. GLD can't stay long enough to build that kind of pressure.
GLD are an incredibly speed-focused team. They want to try and get that attack on their opponent's half as much as they possibly can, keep the pressure going, rotate via those big boost paths as well in order to keep FaZe penned back. But FaZe are fantastic 1v1 players, and with that comes a certain level of boost management. CRR wanting to flex his 1v1 skills, manages 50 against Typical, but great static movement from him, bounces that ball straight back out, and now FaZe Clan on the counter.
Dorito sizing up Typical, just misses the bump. CRR's got a little bit of space, but first killer's gonna wait. Easy defense for him. Dorito waiting in the corner, just trying to prevent an easy counterattack for FaZe. It makes Typical really think about where Dorito is. CRR wins a massive challenge in front. Got the net and try to get the 50, no chance.
I mean, it was very aggressive positioning by first killer. So I'm quite impressed that they managed to get back in time to save it away, but because it just bounced awkwardly for them, the shot wasn't able to come off immediately. CRR not quite with that amount of speed that we would normally see from him in order to get that shot away. First killer on the right-hand wing sends it up high towards CRR, but again, return to FaZe Clan, and still even in this game. 3 minutes elapsed, 0-0.
here for Dorito, but really trying to get that ball to CRR. It wasn't the best 50, but both Guild players have recovered, and Dorito actually winning that touch. First killer working on small pads, trying to stay in the rotation. Sypical, neutral hop down, avoids one. Got the 50 across. Guild doing well enough on defense. It looks like they might get caught out. The 50 isn't enough for FaZe to actually put enough pressure on defense. As it comes back around, CRR baiting the touch and getting the ball back around with control.
Yeah, and did so wonderfully, but now it comes down to Dorito and CRR linking in the middle. First killer able to block both the pass and the shot. The shot itself could have been a little bit more convincing. First killer again sending it high. Typical, they'll have to retreat here. He does, but with a weak touch, he's going to gain possession of that ball. 2v2 is not always about challenging that ball immediately. You can work your way around it. You can go for a lot of off-ball plays and force your opponent to pass it to you. Dorito faking out one, sends him flying. See you later, Typical.
Dorito. Excellent job on the mind here. Talk about not taking every challenge, but knowing that FaZe have to take that one in a 1v1. CRR already downfield, harassing FaZe, forcing them to try to make a quick decision. Dorito takes advantage.
Massive brain play with 1 minute remaining. Are Guild going to be able to get anything from that? The fake kickoff coming in, and it falls to first killer, but CRR somewhat reading it, and the possession is maintained. Dorito, can he hook shot this? No, first killer is able to intercept him immediately. The right-hand wall is now where first killer will try and find his prey. Can he pass it towards Sypical? Is that his intention? Yes, it will be, with 30 with CRR. Leaves him at the back. Sypical able to steal around 100. Tries to go for the double tap. Will first killer be there to sink it? Fakes in CRR, but CRR barely paid attention to him. Another dunk, another bump, another challenge. But Dorito has to play that one safely and intelligently.
Now, CRR is looking real solid behind the ball, especially. He's got all the right decisions in front. First killer taken away again. Dorito needed that help. He had no boost in net. CRR also nothing. The 50s. CRR got it. Dorito shot wide and taken away.
He has to take that opportunity, Dorito. In the final 10 seconds, is going to see FaZe pushing for their life to then not go down by 2. But first killer extending very far down leaves Dorito able to get towards the entire opposite corner of the pitch. In midfield sees another challenge, another demo. Sypical waiting central. 100 boost just picked up a first killer. Flicked high, but Sypical missing. It falls back down towards first killer.
Another 0-second drill. Can first killer deliver something different this time? The 50 bounces off the ramp, and try as they may. You might argue that their results haven't really matched to their level of talent. And is it vibes? Is that what causes them to struggle in these games where they go down early? FaZe absolutely able to turn it back up. We'll see if they can start to come back here after the timeout.
I mean, they're able to turn it back up, but can they crank it to 11? Time's going to tell. Let's see what they're able to do. The 20 seconds has gone immediately in this game, and FaZe, that push, the trademark FaZe pressure, has to build. We have to see the breaking point of Guild reached. Otherwise, FaZe are in dire straits.
Guild, close to that 50. It's going to buy CR just a little time to get into position. Just the rest of his boost. Dorito also diving down, making the escape really difficult for FaZe. Look, CR just jumping back, trying to get to the 50. Dorito also trying to back it up. Doesn't work that time, but that's the type of defense that FaZe are contending with. Launches it downfield. First killer forced to play it out to the corner.
Guild, I feel, ask a lot of questions of FaZe. They try and ping it towards the net as often as they can, just to make sure that they are hanging back. They do not want that full FaZe offense trying to bear down on them. The double touch into that corner from the defense, saved away. Dorito playing the slow game, is not able to get it past. But the pressure continuing for Guild, and the question marks growing with each second.
Guild diving in front of this ball. How aggressive are they from the midfield line? CRR gets the first look. He sees Devo, but it's cut off by Sypical. Already in the air is Devo again, and it's off the bar. Dorito got the redirect. Guild are flying all over the place.
That D synergy going from Devo straight to Dorito via the backboard in the blind spot of AJ as well. Dunks on him. The third D getting Guild the 1-0 lead.
Not exactly the same matchup, but you think when Dignitas lost to 0-1, and 0-1 got to the playoffs, then they had to play Guild. And Guild 4-0'd them, making it look easy. Now, in position, with a lot of time left. But Guild have not lost control of this series or any game. FaZe have constantly been on the defense.
And the FaZe defense can be great, it can be sketchy. We're hoping that they're going to be turning it around somewhat, because we want this series to be as competitive as we possibly can, but there's still a long way to go for Guild. 3 minutes And first killer on that attack. See typical on the biggest open net.
What?
CRR clears it high. What are you doing, FaZe?
You gotta score that ball. You don't miss that. FaZe still on offense.
Huh? What?
Speechless.
How is that not in?
Off the post. Off the post. Nobody in net. CRR's diving back from beyond the box, gets behind the ball on the touch, and now FaZe are on defense.
Oh.
They're losing the 50s. Diving in front, first killer barely gets the touch out. CRR's gonna wait with no boost, but first killer has to wrap himself the whole way around, and now CRR with a full tank beats one guy in midfield. One bounce, one over. AJ in a tough spot. Excuse me. Sypical in a tough spot. And it's taken away.
I am still actively angry about that play, and it's been a minute. That 2-3 of the shots should have been in, but now it comes down to FaZe to turn that back round. Dorito able to save it over the crossbar, sends it to Devo. Again, just outplaying Typical on that sidewall. The 100 boost picked up. The wave dash recovery from CRR. Devo sending it low. Dorito, the chance to shoot, but the pressure building against FaZe Clan. They need to get this synergy going, and they do so. Finally, FaZe on the board.
I haven't been able to connect on passes a lot, but a nice little move here from Sypical and a great catch and flick over to first killer, who just had to beat CRR out, which he hasn't really been able to do for most of the series.
Manages to tap it back behind him as well. Slowing that ball down. Nobody is back in net to clear it away. But GLD, they're going to be on the push. CRR to block it away yet again. Only 30 boost for Dorito. Sees that mid boost. Looks very tempting. And therefore a FaZe player obviously steals it. AJ fancied 100. CRR trying to go for that double touch. Does so over the top as well. Jorby, I see you shaking your head. CRR is immaculate.
He's all over the place. I mean, he doesn't seem to lose a lot of those 50s. You got to straight up beat him on the play. They do double commit this time. Haven't seen that a lot from GLD. Devo got his touch good enough. And Devo, another 50. CRR pushes it in front again, the 50s. Sypical, I don't even think he got a touch on that ball. CRR's just a little faster, but the positive for FaZe, they got the game-tying goal. And while GLD are pressuring them, this is just their aggressive offense. They will expend everything if they have it in the tank. FaZe starting to get through a little bit, maybe trying to bump it out, but the clears are good enough. Look, they force FaZe the whole way back. They're just not covering the options as well as they should be. GLD keep finding the gaps through midfield. It forces FaZe to use more boost to retreat, so use more of their brain to try to figure out how to get by GLD. There's a steal from Dorito, but it's cleared away.
Interesting touch. Leads to 30 seconds left. Devo with 20 boost, tries to chip it over Sypical. But great interception, finds him with control of the ball. 45 seconds. AJ, missed position, set high. CRR has to rocket that home as it ricochets back towards him. Unable to do so. Dorito now, chance to shoot, drop down from the back. Sorry, Devo with a chance to shoot. Dorito dropping back down. 10 seconds, overtime on its way.
Another great challenge in midfield from CRR. Third man, but the ball's loose, and CRR get another big clear as we may head into overtime, but we're still ball in the air. The shot denied. Enough boost. Dorito picked up some pads. Now a canister, but CRR comes in. They're not going to get to that in time. Typical, that's not a hard enough touch. Towards the net. Saved. Still in the air. CRR, nope. Devo coming in. He got the lead.
Drop it.
And it drops it down. CRR had enough of that.
That's a convincing drop down. That man dumped it onto the floor. Overtime in game number 3. It could see the start of the FaZe Clan return, or it could see GLD going ahead by 3 games. Dorito to shoot, and Sypical on that backboard, finding AJ. The synergy has to improve. These shots need to get tighter. Otherwise, FaZe Clan, they are not in a good position. With this push as well from GLD. Devo!
He is a monster today! A master pass from Dorito, back to Devo. First killer's got no shot, backside. Oh, FaZe are on match point.
1v. First killer.
Okay.
Is the one.
Here we go.
Mr. FaZe taking on CRR for FaZe's tournament life and to prevent GLD from 4-0ing them to the grand finals.
CRR, very aggressive ones player. He will try to get in front, challenge you as often as possible, give you no space to breathe. So how will first killer be able to deal with that? CRR starts off on offense.
Quite a lot of that play down in first killer's half, but slowing it down, he should be able to get the shot off here. Instead, he waits. wanting to take this a touch more measured than the 3 games have been. CRR, when they go for that flick over the top, does attempt to, but First Killer, with a wonderful challenge, is able to get the opening goal. That is a very, very good sign for FaZe.
You know, so one way to beat an aggressive player is just to be aggressive yourself. You take that challenge, don't give him any chance to get that flick on top of you. First Killer doing well there.
A high-scoring game, theoretically ahead of us. Both these players wanting to be aggressive. Typical taking this chance to relax. It's now First Killer attempting to shoot on that ball. Does so. The backflip from CRR. First Killer. Has he got the ice this time?
He gets a decent bounce too, CRR. No, he gets into position quickly, but that's just a great shot by First Killer.
So quick.
Best way to beat that when you get the win in the corner, you are basically in a tough position as a defender with a kickoff as good as First Killer got there.
The mid boost possession stolen by CRR, but now First Killer at the back with that back left. The flick is incoming. Does manage to go back behind him. First Killer almost tapped it in himself. Instead it falls to CRR, but what a wonderful flick. Sending it behind him as the momentum carries him the wrong way.
It gets a very favorable bounce with the inside of the post. First Killer, it's going to be really hard to recover in time to grab CRR off that ball.
First Killer repeatedly called the #1 player in North America in the 1v1 playlist. CRR, as far as I know, has never been gifted that mantle in Europe, but has certainly been putting forward a brilliant conversation for it.
Try to take that boost away from First Killer, but he had enough to get the ball downfield. First Killer's going to wait. CRR in control. Another flick, testing it. CRR just keeping the ball in control, winning those 50s. First Killer has to manage his boost well here when he's losing that boost battle. Doing well right now, but only 45 in the tank, and CRR's now out.
CRR missed that mid boost, and so he had to return. Is not able to. The double push, and CRR did not need to touch that. He panicked. He felt worried that First Killer was lurking. Wanted to touch it to the side. Was not able to get the angle, passes it straight to his deadly opponent.
He did have to react quickly. First Killer was sitting right behind him. Couldn't get the ball out far enough.
But a nervy touch.
Very.
Something you really do not see from CRR often, but First Killer, he is shaking CRR to that core. 0 boost though, CRR has to get rid of this because First Killer just picked up a hundo.
CRR does get it over him, and he gets deleted.
Big.
And now First Killer, that should be a goal, but CRR close side, and he got the save. Guess I shouldn't say anything until I see the player spawn.
Very favorable spawn there for CRR, going on the correct side, realistically. First Killer wanted to go for the busty, fakes him out. That man is feeling confident.
Using the benefit of all that space, has the reset, not use, and like you said, faking the musty, CRR having to wait, and it's so tough to be patient and then react when that full fake comes in, losing to the bounce.
Approaching halftime in the game, and First Killer doing exactly what his team need him to do. The mid possession going towards him for the 100 boost too.
And we didn't see this from First Killer against Roas. One thing that really hurt him was he was so one-dimensional. Just constant basic air dribbles towards the net, losing to Roas recovery counterattacks. And that really burned him. But this time, he's mixing it up a lot more against CRR, but he's ruined by the post.
Robbed of a goal there, realistically. First Killer played that to perfection. 30 boosts as CRR wants to challenge him. First Killer taken to the skies. FaZe Clan players love to. It's a flip reset. Can't quite flick it around CRR. Can this bounce be favorable to him? It can be. Can it be on target? Yes, and the goal is just about squeaked away.
Just near side. Good win by CRR. He knows he's got to get that shot out quickly. First Killer was right there, and like you said, always got to hit that ball with speed on that counterattack.
So much pressure riding on First Killer right now as well. His teammates either side of him, flanking him, wanting their general to do well, but CRR not reading that fake kickoff how I expected that he would, but it does actually fall in his favor.
It was a nice soft touch initially. He saw First Killer pull off the ball. He just won the 50. He'll get himself a goal, but it all started on that kickoff. Plays the slow touch, gives himself the chance at the 50, not letting First Killer just take control, take it to the corner. It was good mind in reacting on the kickoff.
The slower that 50 goes, the closer CRR can be to the ball, and because he's lower on boost, because he's sped up to the kickoff, he's able to stay close to it. The possession will not go flying away. Otherwise, they might have pinged awkwardly. First Killer could have had the advantage on the shot towards the blue half, but a good chance for a comeback here for CRR. And again, wanting this game to go his way, his teammates, everything on each other's shoulders.
CRR's mounted a comeback, 2 straight goals. First killer, he's looked a little more like his old 1v1 self in the matchup so far. Tester flick, start whittling him down on defense. CRR, tough position. Good landing on the wall, but he's out of boost right now. First killer took it away. CRR in a really tough spot. First killer launched that one up. CRR gets a chance to refuel.
And manages to send it towards the correct side, so then CRR is able to get that corner boost. If he sent it the other way, then he would have been out of position, had to then continue relying on pads. Brilliant game management from CRR there. Chance to go for a flick, fakes it low, actually catches it and reverses back with it.
Really smart to take that ball away. He didn't have any boost on the play, so if he just drives it into the first killer, tries the outplay, it wouldn't have worked. Oh, and CRR got around him. It's a wheelie race, and CRR couldn't put it in.
CRR had an absolute chance to go for the goal there. Just had to get the straight line. I hope we get to see that replay. I felt like that was just a goal for CRR. No, it cuts off a little bit too late. I didn't quite catch what happened there.
Well, first killer was harassing CRR from behind. CRR doesn't want to turn too far to the right to get that touch because he could just get chipped off the play. Ball bounces up the ramp and then CRR gets scored on anyway. It was a really tough spot. He has to drive in a straight line, but wasn't perfectly straight on the ball. So first killer, staying close to the play, allowed him to put CRR off just by centimeters.
It makes it remarkably awkward for him as well. First killer keeping possession of that ball until it falls to CRR. The flick. Chance coming in, goes round one, but can't quite whip round the side for the second shot. The 100 boost grab. First killer only on 20. The low is the shout as far as CRR is concerned. Bumped, boosted away. Can the quick shot come in?
There it is.
On target, and it is now 1 goal separating the Titan.
That's exactly why you practice your power shots. Excellent there from CRR. Gets at the perfect spot on the ball, right on the corner. 106 kilometers per hour from your own third. Excellent job.
Not bad whatsoever, but FaZe and the first killer need to burn the 18 seconds off. In 1v1, the best defense is very much offense. CRR low on boost, but does want that possession. Chance for first killer, he's just going to keep challenging, fake challenging, bumping, getting rid of his opposition. That ball has to go the way of CRR. The 100 boost does. What does first
killer's flat. He's flat. He's got the goal. It should be in. Tie game at 0 seconds. CRR's not out of it.
That man living in the Arctic has ice for days. That does not faze him whatsoever. And FaZe down low.
Doesn't panic with the clock ticking down. Less than 5 seconds. He goes for the boost, waits for the ball, and now we start overtime on this kickoff. Oh, first killer's won. CRR just recovers, gets the save.
Very few times do we see an overtime in 1v1 go above 1 minute, so this next minute is going to be deciding it near enough. The demo coming in, but first killer just removing CRR because it's in his own half. Doesn't matter too much. Hook shot chance for first killer. Does manage to get it just wide of target. Sends CRR to it. It's threatening enough. So only 16 boost. First killer though missing the double touch, but will get the back right boost possession. CRR to grab the other, but first killer continuing the push.
The flick, he's gonna get the boost. Beat CRR again, only 10 in the tank for CRR. Gets a nice touch over first killer. He's got him beat! It's just off, he misses off the post. Can he get to it in time? No, he's got no boost, he has to retreat.
On that left wing, we are approaching 1 minute, that death mark for a lot of 1v1 games. Great flick, great boost grab. First killer though, sending that high, slows the game down. CRR takes to the skies, the home of FaZe Clan.
Oh, good recovery. CRR gets underneath first killer.
Oh my gosh.
47 here, so tight. Lands in front, back and forth, just turns into a boxing match in midfield. First killer wraps it back around, secures his boost. He needed that. CRR's only got 10. He's aggressive. First killer gonna get it out. CRR's gotta be careful. As he just gets to that 50, that was risky.
God, my heart, I feel like I'm gonna have palpitations in a second. We've more than surpassed that 1 minute mark, approaching a minute and a half now. Demoing first killer. It whips right, and then grand finals for GLD Esports.
The comeback in the 1v1 deletes first killer from the tournament, and FaZe Clan sent packing. Marky Duda up, cheering his team on, chanting them. And my goodness, CRR, you deserve all of that praise for that 1v1. What a comeback. What a statement from Guild heading to the grand final, Stumpy.
I genuinely have chills. I
can't believe you did
that
it.
grand final, approaching a 2-minute overtime in a 1v1 to 4-0 the number 2 team in North America as the 13th seed. GLD have just secured themselves the biggest prize for any individual match in Rocket League. That is $100,000 and a minimum of $300,000 going the way of Dorito, CRR, and Devo.
Every single penny of that deserved. GLD. I mean, shocking the whole tournament. Nobody would have predicted a 4-0 onto FaZe, and this was a full team effort. Devo has received a lot of criticism, but in the 3v3 Stumpy, he was excellent. He was causing mayhem up. What the heck just happened?
I can't wait to watch that back. I can't wait to just look at how that series changed. That overtime, I swear, and at Johnny Boy, is that one of the most exciting 1v1s that we have seen in a competitive environment in a tournament? I feel like it might be. That was great.
I mean, like, that was better than Yan's comeback against Fahad earlier in the tournament. He was down 4 goals.
Yeah.
CRR down by 3 was 4-1, and then First Killer even getting another goal, and he still comes back. I mean, the stones in the corner. I wish we could look at that the final 10 seconds of regulation again. But man, I'm excited.
It's wonderful.
I'm excited to hear from GLD.
Yes.
So let's go down with Banks and Fancy to hear from the victors.